And I can confirm that there's no students on the campus injured. We will be, as soon as we possibly can, releasing those students to the parents at a location that we're not releasing at this point.
And you guys are going to be holding some sort of a news conference in an effort to get the latest information out this afternoon coming up here.
At 1:30, we plan on having a press conference at the police department, Placerville PD.
Okay, thank you, Captain. We really
Jonas
appreciate it.
Tishner, thank you very much. Let's get over to Shawn Boyd. He is at the suspect's house right now where they believe the suspect is holed up inside. Shawn.
Well, I'll tell you what just went down here in the last minute and a half. They had their guns drawn, and a man, a heavy-set man, backed out. He's balding on top, backed out with his hands above his head, back down the driveway to the waiting sheriff's deputies, who then frisked him. And at this point, I can't tell where he is. It appears that they may have brought him behind one of their other trucks, with about 8 other sheriff's deputies, all with their guns drawn, still at this point aiming at the house. So at this point, we don't know who that man was, so the suspect may still be inside.
The suspect, again, we gave the description, blonde hair, short, stocky. You said he was a heavy-set man. There's a possibility it could be this suspect, John H. Levers, gray jacket with blue jeans. Does that fit the general description, do you think there, Shawn?
Not entirely. The man that came out was balding on top. I didn't see blonde hair. I didn't see much hair at all.
And sometimes,
but he was heavy set with blue jeans.
And I think in this case, the description would have been pretty accurate because obviously he was the janitor at the school, and it would have been a lot of people who would have seen him on a day-to-day basis. So that's interesting. Could have been someone else inside that house.
Okay, sorry to interrupt you right now, but they're going in. There are about 6 SWAT team members with a deflector shield in front of them, all guns drawn, working their way up towards the house very methodically.
Can you take cell phone video as this is happening?
Yep, I've been doing some already. You should have some lined up. In fact, we have the image of that one gentleman being frisked that you should have in your possession there, so you can pull that up from Dave's email. And as soon as we have something else to shoot for you, we certainly will do that.
All right, we're also looking live at the scene. This is at the school where the alleged shooting happened, at Louisiana Schnell School, not far from the suspect's home, where you can see there's still a huge police presence, even though they know that the suspect is inside that house. So that's what the El Dorado County Sheriff's Department has told Placerville PD. They're still keeping the kids in lockdown mode at this time and keeping parents outside and waiting. So we're going to get that picture for you as soon as we possibly can. So Shawn, please continue to describe what's happening right now.
Yeah, what do you see right now, Shawn?
Well, if you remember earlier, I said there were only 3 cars, sheriff's deputies out here. Well, now there must be 10 or more, as well as about 20 to 25 sheriff's deputies, all with weapons drawn. They're congregating over here next to us, communicating with each other, trying to figure out what's going on with their sheriff's deputies who just, I don't want to say stormed the house, but they certainly methodically lined up behind each other using one of those bulletproof shields, worked their way up to the front door, it appears, or maybe toward the garage, at where, from my vantage point, I can't see the garage.
Let's get to Jonas Tishner right now. Shawn, excuse us. Jonas, do you have confirmation?
Yes, we just received confirmation from the Placerville Police Department that the Sheriff's Department has made entry into that home and that the suspect, John Levers, is now in custody. We just received that literally seconds ago from the public information officer, the captain we spoke with earlier live here on our air from Placerville PD. So right now, this situation is again changing rapidly, but we have confirmation the suspect has been taken into custody at this home where we have been talking to Mr. Boyd there for some time.
Jonas, excuse me. Are they letting parents in yet at this point? Because it looks like they're starting to clear up the road a little bit.
Well, they are clearing the road up, but they are not letting parents in. We have been told that what they are going to do is within the next half hour or so establish an undisclosed location, and then they're going to take parents to their children and let them pick them up there. They haven't told us where that's going to be, but right now, take a look at this picture. This is the suspect who we've been talking about, 43-year-old John Levers, who has been described as a custodian or a janitor. Lubers. Sorry, I'm hearing a producer remind me it's Lubers. 43 years old, 5'7", 165 pounds, blonde hair, blue eyes. He is accused today of shooting an administrator. We have not been given information as to who this administrator is. We don't know if it is if it is a principal of the school or someone else. But again, accused of shooting them. We're not sure of the injuries, although we have been told that this person is in critical condition. So I'm assuming that they are going to be handling this case very delicately now, because things can change rapidly depending on how those injuries go.
And we know that this is just a picture of someone that came out of the house. We don't know, Jonas, if this is the exact suspect. So we just want to clarify that. But this is someone that did come out with their hands up out of the house. They still went in after, according to Shawn Boyd, who is there at the scene.
Although, Jonas, you were telling us that your source, the PIO, said that that is the suspect?
I mean, they haven't seen our picture, though. This could be another picture.
The public information officer here says that they have confirmed the suspect is in custody at this time.
Right, we do know that. We just don't know if this picture that we have is of that suspect. So, all right, Jonas, any other new information there from the scene? We do know that that suspect is in custody, though.
Nothing right now. I think right now parents who are watching are concerned certainly about how they're going to get to their children, and that is going to be the focus now as a lot of this scene begins to clear up. I think they're again going to be going to an undisclosed location to retrieve their children. Right now they're saying the school has been deemed safe. And I'm assuming that they will probably do that for all the schools here in Placerville sometime pretty quickly, make sure that they are no longer on lockdown. People are able to come and go as they need to.
Right, because if the police are saying they have their suspect in custody, this is not a situation where it was, say, a multi-suspect armed robbery of some kind of a bank where they were looking for 7 or 8 suspects. It's not like this is just one man involved in this situation, one suspect.
Jonas, thank you so much for the update. Please get back to us as soon as you know that the parents are being let back in and the kids are being let go to go home. All right, if we can get Shawn Boyd back on the phone to clarify a few things, possibly. Shawn is actually at the suspect's house where we have confirmed there. Shawn Boyd, can you confirm for us exactly what's happening there? We do know that the suspect is indeed in custody.
Okay, well, they haven't brought him out yet. So at this point, even the sheriff's deputies are waiting for their colleagues to come out of the house with the suspect in cuffs. At this point, he hasn't come out yet, so we're just sitting here waiting.
What are you, to describe what you're seeing now, where's the activity centered around right now?
The activity is centered about 20 feet from me. There are 9 deputies in front of me, standing behind their patrol car. Some casually dressed, others dressed in their SWAT uniforms with automatic weapons drawn still at this point. They seem a little more casual than they were about 10 minutes ago.
So the picture that you sent us, who is that man that had his do you know yet who that man is? Is that the suspect that they have in custody, or is that somebody else who was at the house? Do we know yet?
That was someone that they, at this point, it appears that it was a gentleman who was either in the house or near the house.
Right.
They brought him down, and then it was after that they went in, the way I described earlier, with guns drawn, with their bulletproof shield in front of them. So my guess is at this point that was not the suspect, that it was someone else who they brought out of the house.
Which you said that guy didn't match the description of John Lubers anyway.
No, he did not. No,
The description we had was blonde hair, and you said he was a bald male. And of course, in that situation, if you were coming out and you saw all those guns drawn at you, whether or not you were a suspect or not, you would too put your hands up and say, I have no weapons, I'm not going to hurt anybody.
Shawn, can you tell us, you guys were first there before any of the law enforcement?
Yeah, we arrived about 20 to 25 minutes before law enforcement.
And you saw that white GMC there?
We did, and at that point, we weren't sure if that was his vehicle or not. We knew it was the right address, but we had been given a description of a Jeep, a white Jeep. So we called back and had one of the folks there at the assignment desk call and confirm the vehicle, and in fact, they said it was a white GMC. So I said, okay, you might want to tell the law enforcement that he's here. And it took another 15 to 20 minutes for them to show up. I don't know what took them so long, and that's certainly something that we're going to want to find out. But it's something to be said when, we can get there 20 minutes ahead of law enforcement. And at this point, like I said earlier, I'm certainly glad I didn't go knock on that door.
Right, yeah.
Right, because that's usually the first thing we do when we go somewhere. Shawn, give us an idea of how many miles apart are you, how far away are you from the school to the suspect's home? How many miles?
Well, honestly, I'm not sure on the location of the school. We were directed here, and we got here, post-haste. And so you guys would have a better idea of that than I would. But I can tell you, that based on kind of what we were hearing on the way up, that this was certainly the quicker location for us to reach.
Yeah, we had Mike Delastrito on the Google Maps there earlier showing us from where the Schnell School was and where the shooting took place and where the suspect was holed up. And it looked like it was just a matter of maybe 2 or 3 miles. We originally saw police go up what looked like a small bike or a wooded hiking path there that was adjacent to the school. And they came out and empty-handed. We saw several law enforcement come out with their guns, but they didn't have the suspect. And then they realized that he was holed up in his house there. Boy, this could have gone on, Shawn. This could have gone on for hours, and I think it's interesting that the authorities got there, and this scene unfolded in about 15 minutes or so, 20 minutes.
Yeah, very quickly, and I think that's due in part to someone having communication with the suspect in the house, because this wouldn't have happened that way had they not been able to make contact with him.
Right.
The big question right now, and we're waiting to get confirmation, is the status of the shooting victim and that school administrator who was allegedly shot by the janitor, John Lubers. We're waiting to get confirmation on that. We do know from that firefighter that it was a serious injury, and so obviously they're waiting to, before they announce who the school administrator is, they want to let the family and the people close to them know who was indeed shot. But also we're waiting to hear from Marshall Hospital on the status of that shooting victim.
And one of the other things, Lisa and Shawn, to keep in mind too is that we know parents they are just right now they want to make sure their kids are safe. Part of that school is a crime scene, and so we have to let the officials get in there, do their work, and make sure that they have all the evidence they need in the case where this goes to a trial, and get all the information they can gather together. So that's another important aspect of parents who are saying, I need to get my kid out of the school.
And they don't want to probably contaminate the crime scene, the alleged crime scene. And it brings me to another point, that children will be held there at Louisiana Schnell School until 1 p.m. and parents can pick up their children and they can meet at the Mountain Democrat parking lot. Let's get to Mike Delastrito. Mike.
Guys, I'm just seeing on their website, the Placerville Union School District, they're sending out a notice to all parents. I'm going to read this for you as I'm seeing it for the first time on Miscellaneous 3.